Hello, my name is Ashot and my family is originally from Armenia. However, during the genocide in 1915, my family had to move to Russia.
Hi, my name is Ruben. My parents were originally born in Mexico. They came here to the United States around in the 80s, and I was born here in California.
Today we're going to tell you about our cultural traditions.
So my tradition is more of a celebration. Every year on December 12th, in my neighborhood, which is in the Sacred Heart Parish, we have a celebration that's dedicated to La Virgen de Guadalupe. And in our tradition, she's a very important motherly figure that is significant in all of our lives.
Our tradition is celebrated on the 14th Sunday after Easter, and it is called Vardavar. This tradition is related to the transfiguration of Christ, and during that day, all the people and all Armenians around the world pour each other with water.
Now, our concepts revolve around the idea of spiritual identity because each of our cultures feels very connected throughout these times of celebrations, and each of these celebrations has significant meanings that are dear to our hearts.
Now, let's take a closer look at our traditions.
The story of La Virgen de Guadalupe is recorded in Virgilio Elizondo book, Guadalupe, Mother of the New World. The year is 1531, and it has been roughly 12 years after the Spanish conquest. During those years, the indigenous Indians were forced to abandon their old traditions and convert to Christianity. The respect and dignity of the indigenous people were destroyed during these 10 years. One day, on December 12, 1531, an Indian by the name of Juan Diego was walking by the hill of Tepayac, and suddenly he hears a beautiful voice singing and the sound of birds chirping. At that moment, a beautiful brown-skinned woman appeared in front of Juan Diego. Her beauty was so amazing that it left him speechless. She spoke to him in the Nahuatl language, which is Juan's traditional old language. Our Lady asked Juan for a favor, to go to the bishop and ask that a temple be built on the hill that welcomes everyone. Juan rushes to the bishop to deliver the message, but the bishop was skeptical about his request. Juan goes back to the hill and tells the lady to have someone else with higher power to make the request, but the lady wanted Juan for this one request. The next day, Juan goes to the bishop again, and this time, the friars accuse Juan of making up the story, which offends him. The bishop asks Juan to prove that his story is true by bringing a sign. Juan leaves again and advises the lady to find a new messenger. The lady tells Juan to forget his doubts and to return to the hill the next day. However, Juan Bernardino, the uncle of Juan, is sick with smallpox and on the verge of death. His faith is shaken and he does not go to meet La Virgen. During the next day, La Virgen asks Juan why he did not show up, and Juan explains his situation to La Virgen. The lady reveals to Juan that his uncle had been cured, and afterwards she tells Juan to climb to the top of the hill and collect the flowers that are blooming there. Juan goes to the bishop with the flowers in his tilma, a cloak, and then he unfolds it, revealing an image of the lady appearing on Juan's tilma, a symbol of hope and peace in the new world, and the temple was built on Tepayac, which is now a place of worship. According to Timothy Moravina's Horizons of the Sacred, every year on December 12th, many Hispanic neighborhoods in the U.S. and in Mexico have celebrations dedicated to La Virgen. It is filled with dancing, and it has a reenactment of the story of Juan Diego. At midnight, many Hispanic bands or people from the audience sing to La Virgen from midnight to the early hours in the morning. This is called Las Mañanitas. Chapter 3 in our textbook talks about symbolic significance. In my culture, La Virgen is seen as a mother to the Hispanic community since she looks after her children and is there for us in times of need. This is how we give thanks to her.
Now, let's take a closer look at ancient Armenian tradition called Vardavar.
Vardavar predates Christianity, and it was originally a celebration of the pagan deity Astrik, the goddess of water, beauty, love, and fertility. According to legend, Astrik spread love through Armenia by sprinkling rose water across land. However, after the pagan era, when Armenian people and state became Christian, the celebration of Vardavar changed its meaning. According to Very Reverend Father Vahan Terminasan, Vardavar is the oldest feast established by our forefather Noah after the flood, when the ark settled on top of the Armenian mountain Ararat. By sprinkling water on each other and by releasing doves to fly, Armenians kept the memory of Noah and the flood alive in their national traditions. Today, the meaning of the feast Vardavar is related to the transfiguration of Christ. Vardavar is one of the nation's favorite holidays for Armenians, and it is celebrated on the 14th Sunday after Easter. The event is celebrated among the Armenian diaspora all over the world, and during that day all Armenians pour water on each other. According to International Journal of Ethnography, this practice received its name from the festivities connected with the religious observance of Astrik, which were named Vardavar, because Armenians offered her roses as a celebration. And in Armenian, Vard means rose and Var means rice. Vardavar has a strong symbolic significance for Armenians, since it is religious and has been celebrated for thousands of years. During Vardavar, you may be rattled with water buckets up to several hundred times, and the rules of social etiquette and social status are thrown away. People of all ages are allowed to dose others, even strangers, with water. Some might use houses, others get creative and pour buckets of water from balconies on unsuspecting and surprised passers-by. There is no way you can exempt yourself from that. Even if you're in the car or you are wearing a suit and tie and going to a serious meeting, you will be splashed with water. It is the day when teenagers, kids and adults are all on the streets pouring each other with water in the spirit of good fun. Now, let's look at some videos to get a better idea of how Vardavar is celebrated.
Alright guys, so you just took a look at both of our traditions and why it is important to us and its history. And now Ashot will introduce his interviewee from his Ruben.
His name is Ivan, and the tradition he celebrates is called the Day of the Dead.
Well, as a family in Mexico, we are very traditional. We have many traditions, but we always do everything as a family. I think that's the tradition that we enjoy at the most. One of them that I remember that we used to do every year, on November 2nd, it's the Day of the Dead. That's when we remember the people and family, friends, who they were a part of our lives, and they mean something important for us. The way we celebrate is we cook the dishes they love the most, the things they used to wear, so we put it in a table with a bunch of candles. And the tradition says every November 2nd, those spirits come down and taste the food they used to taste, the food they used to enjoy. So that's one of the traditions that we follow in Mexico, and we're trying to follow in here still, but it's more limited.
After taking a closer look at Ivan's tradition, we can see how it is connected to the concept of familial identity, because it's always celebrated with the family and it's connected to those family members who have passed away.
It is safe to say that all of our cultures are connected in a sense that individually we feel a sense of calling to a higher meaning, and at the same time in our own traditions and in our own cultures we all feel connected as one big group and as one big happy family. Although what makes them different in a sense is that each of these traditions, both mine and Ashot's, are celebrated specifically within our cultures only.
For example, our tradition is celebrated by Armenian people for thousands of years, and it's only celebrated by Armenians.
And in my tradition, it is mostly celebrated by Hispanics, and it is highly celebrated in my neighborhood, and it's been celebrated that way since I was a little kid.
Thanks for watching our presentations, and we hope you enjoyed it.